Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of the Chi-Town Sports Podcast. I'm joined with my co-host Ben Neuwanner, and we're going to be reviewing my, second round of NBA prospects this upcoming draft. The draft it's not going to be till
October 15th, right?
October 15th, yes, and the lottery will be August 25th. So you got a couple months, but until then, let's go over these guys. Later this week, I'm assuming Saturday or Sunday, maybe Monday, we will have Ben's second round of prospects, and then probably shortly after that, we'll do some NBA mock drafts until the sports get back into session, and we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about those games, the scores, the highlights, and everything that goes with the sports being back. So, 31, Jahmi'us Ramsey, the Texas Tech shooting guard, an elite defensive player with a ton of athleticism. He can produce off the catch and shoot and has deep range. Was a four-star recruit out of high school. Had a decent year, but just missed my top 30, put him at 31. Emmanuel Quickley, a guy Ben is really high on. He earned first team All-SEC. Definitely improved since his freshman year. He's a little bit undersized, but he definitely has a role in the NBA. Jay Scrubb. Originally going to attend Louisville this next year, but pulled out a few months ago to just go to the draft, which I think was a brilliant decision on his part. Definitely going to be drafted. Wouldn't be surprised if he falls past 40 or 45, but still definitely going to get drafted, make the money. Cassius Stanley, the Duke shooting guard, very athletic. Broke Zion's Duke vertical jump measurement last summer and showed his potential this past year in Durham. Didn't put up the greatest numbers, but from his high school tape alone at Sierra Canyon,
he's so athletic
at the next level. Yeah, and he'll definitely be drafted. Ben, what do you think about Cassius Stanley?
I like him, but I didn't like his numbers, so we'll see.
Devon Dotson. Averaged 18-1 in a good Big 12 and was a piece in the best point guard center combo in recent memory. Doesn't have a crazy amount of potential, and most scouts believe he's reached his peak, at least on the defensive side of the ball. I like Devon Dotson. I like him enough to have him in front of Cassius Winston, Payne Pritchard, and Charles Riller. But I think he is undersized, which I think will definitely hurt him at the next level in the NBA or G League, wherever he plays. I think he'll start off in the G League, work his way up to the NBA. Ben, what do you think about Devon Dotson?
I like him less than I like Cassius Winston, but I do think he's better than some of the other point guards of that kind of type.
All right, Trendon Watford. I've seen Trendon Watford all the way.
I've never seen this guy.
From a first-round pick to undrafted and like a summer league contract. I like him a lot. You can play the 3 or the 4. He had a solid freshman year, averaging 14-7. Like I said on CBS Sports, he's ranked the 6th best power forward in this draft. And he was the 18th best player in the country coming out of high school, 5-star recruit.
Is he a good shooter? I have not heard of this guy.
He is. You can kind of do everything well, yeah. Ashton Hagnes. I know you've heard of him. Kentucky point guard. Shared time with 2 other guards, Tyrese Maxey and Emmanuel Quickley. Kentucky, all in this range of prospects, and average 11-6 with 2 steals. Another highly touted recruit falling out of the top 30 prospects for me, but has a lot of potential. Ben, what do you think about Ashton?
I like him least because he's not a great shooter, but I do think he was really good on Kentucky.
Nico Mannion. One of the more household names in this class. He played high school ball at the famous Pinnacle High School in Scottsdale, which always produces great players. Didn't have the year he hoped for, averaging 14 points and 5 assists. But he reminds me of Thomas Sato on the Bulls or Matthew Dellavedova. 39, Jaden McDaniels, the Washington power forward. He definitely had a lousy year at Washington, only putting up 13-6 on an awful 40% from the field. If you're a big guy, you got to put up at least 50%, in my opinion. But he will definitely be taken in the top 40, if not 45, just on his potential. And Ben, what do you think about Jaden McDaniels?
He was going to be a top like first round guy until he played terribly. So I don't have him in my top 40.
All right. Xavier Tillman, Michigan State power forward. I'm assuming he's leaving, but that's still in the air. It's many people think it's 50-50, and he even said a few weeks ago on one of his platforms that he is 50-50 on staying or leaving. If he leaves, though, I have him at 40. He won Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, which is very hard to win. Shot 55% from the field, which I really like. And I would not be surprised if he leaves, he's a first-round pick. Would not be shocked at all. Ben, what do you think about Xavier?
Yeah, I think he'll be fringe first round pick. I like him a lot.
All right. Jared Butler, the Baylor shooting guard. Excuse me.
Shooting guard.
Baylor. I'll just go ahead and change that right now. Doesn't do anything at an all-star or starter level, but does everything well. He from day one will be in the rotation, and in the coming years could take up the role of 6th or 7th man on the right roster. Put up 16 points as a 19-year-old at Baylor. Solid player.
Mm-hmm.
This is a guy who I knew nothing about going into my scouting. Tyler Bay from Colorado. Statistical-wise, doesn't put up crazy numbers. He was the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. He definitely reminds me of PJ Tucker and has only been rising on other big boards. I would not be shocked if he's a round 1 selection.
Yeah.
What do you think about Tyler Bay? Do you know anything about him, Ben?
I know that he's a pretty good shooter and he's tall. I mean, I think he might actually be a power forward. That's what I've seen him listed as.
Yeah.
But he can
kind of play the 2, 3, or 4. I should mention that. Elijah Hughes, the Syracuse small forward. I've seen him as high as 22, 21 on some boards, as low as not even in the top 60, but put up 19 points and 5 rebounds for a pretty bad Syracuse team. But he had a vicious dunk against Bucknell, which really showed me his athleticism. But like I said, he falls to the 43 just because of his age. 44, Tyrese Maxey, another one of those 5-star Kentucky guards. I doubt he'll play anything other than the point guard, just because he's 6'3", 6'4", but he played most of the 2, which I think hurt him due to Ashton Hagnes and Emmanuel quickly playing the point guard in Lexington. But yeah, going into this year, a lot of scouts had him as a lottery pick, if not first-round pick, but I don't think he'll be a first-round pick, maybe even a top 40 pick, but he'll definitely be selected.
I'm just going to say, I've seen Tyrese Maxey as high as 9. So where you're putting him is fairly low.
Have you actually?
I've seen him on 9 on Sports Illustrated, and I've seen him on like 13 on ESPN.
Wow. Well, I don't know. Draft night, surprises always happen. Udoka Azubuike, the Kansas center. We all know him. One of the most well-known players in these past years of basketball, undoubtedly. Had some injury problems, which definitely hurt him, but he definitely has a spot with various NBA teams in situational offenses, like I said. You need a couple buckets. You need a guy to come off the bench, give you some energy. A big man presence, he can fill that void. 46, our second half of our list today. Miles Powell, the Seton Hall shooting guard. I should actually say combo guard now that I think about it. He'll play the 1 and the 2, maybe even the 3 if you need him the next level. But he definitely had an incredible run at Seton Hall. His stats are good, but not as high as some projected. Like I said, a team looking for backcourt depth or a quick scorer could definitely use Miles. Ben, what do you think about the combo guard from Seton Hall?
He was definitely good in college, but he's not high on a lot of people's draft boards. So we'll see.
You have another upperclassman, Cassius Winston, the senior point guard, had a career only a few can have. This past year, he dealt with adversity but handled it well, losing his dad midway through the season. Put up nearly 19 points and nearly 6 assists, leading the Spartans all year long. And I remember by the end of the year, they were heating up so much. They were going to be a scary team.
I think what happened to him, it was pretty rough. In like November, his dad might have also died, but his brother committed suicide. So that was tough.
It's definitely a hard year, but powered through it.
Yeah.
Khalil Whitney, the Kentucky 3. One of the weirdest years anyone could have ever thought of. He left Kentucky midseason, was linked to mainly Georgetown, but a couple other teams as well. He ended up going pro, signed an agent. Was originally from Chicago, played on the Matt Girvin Fire. Ended up going to New Jersey to play high school ball, but being the 5-star he was and his raw potential, I think he'll definitely be selected, but I would not be shocked if he goes undrafted.
Yeah.
Patrick Williams, the Florida State small forward. On CBS Sports, this guy was a top 20, 21, 22 player. I don't have him there. I'm not a huge fan of his. He only played 22 minutes, so he didn't play a crazy amount in the games he was in. But I think for potential and his defensive ability coming out of high school as just coming out of college as just a freshman, he definitely deserves to be drafted, and I think he will. I would definitely not be shocked if he's a first-round pick, but I overall think he's overrated. Ben, anything on Patrick Williams?
Well, his stats aren't great, but if you watch the tape, you can kind of see that he has a lot of potential. I think he's a top 20 player, but I think that you could look at his stats and not like him.
Yeah. Kenyon Martin Jr., an interesting guy here. Instead of going pro or going to Arizona, where many thought he would attend, he decided to go to IMG Academy. The son of former NBA All-Star Kenyon Martin, he chose to stay in the country and play for the IMG Academy for their fifth-year team, a team Justin Cross might play for next year.
Oh.
His highlights speak for themselves as he played like his father. IMG Justin, shout out.
Yeah, let's see if that happens.
51, Ayo Dosunmu, the Illinois point guard. The Morgan Park standout and former 4-star recruit helped lead Illinois to a great year and averaged 16-4. I would not be shocked if he sneaks into round 1 or honestly goes undrafted. Another point guard, can shoot it from anywhere, quick, but he had a good year at Illinois in Champaign. Ben, what do you think about Ayo? You definitely know about him.
He would have benefited from playing in March Madness.
Oh, yeah.
I think. So it's too bad. I think he could stay another year, but he's going to go. I think he'll be drafted around where you put him.
Peyton Pritchard, the Oregon point guard. His stats speak for themselves. He can contribute at the next level for sure. But the question is, how much? He's undersized and does not show too much room for improvement as he played all 4 years at Oregon. Anything you want to add on him, Ben?
He was really good at Oregon, but I agree with you.
Kofi Cockburn, a guy some people don't even have in their top 90. I think he deserves way more credit than that. Won Freshman of the Year, which I forgot to put here, but Kofi had a better year than expected and was poised for an even better sophomore year, which I think he should have stayed another year, but his decision. Illinois' incoming 4-star point guard Andre Curbelo took to his social media platforms to beg Kofi to stay, telling Kofi, if you stay, we will be the deadliest point guard center combo in the country, and we will do some damage.
It's a cocky 4-star recruit right there.
Nick Richards, Kentucky center, former highly touted recruit. Nick stayed a lot longer than many originally thought. Everyone thought he'd be a one and done. Stayed 3 years. He finished his junior year and put up solid numbers with 14 and 8. Isaiah Joe, the Arkansas combo guard. I like his name, Isaiah Joe. His corner and floater need work, but his overall offensive game is elite. He scored an outstanding 17 points per game and put on display his defensive awareness all season long. Ben, anything you have on Isaiah Joe?
No, not yet.
All right. Malachi Flynn, the SDSU point guard. The frigid point guard had a year little saw coming, leading San Diego State to a historic season until the season was canceled, of course. At the next level, you will have a small role but can definitely contribute to the right team. He'd work well in the 76ers or Celtics system, in my opinion. Ben, you definitely know about Malachi
I've
Flynn.
seen a lot of games with Malachi, and he was so clutch in college. I like him for the NBA.
All right, Grant Riller, the Charleston point guard. I spelled Charleston wrong. My bad. This is a guy, CBS Sports is in the top 40. I don't have him that high. He was a senior last year. Similar play to Cassius Winston and Peyton Pritchard. I have him lower due to his lack of competition and his age. His numbers were very impressive last year, though, putting up 22 points. Paul Reed. Thinking back on this, I probably should have put him in my top 45, 50, maybe even 40. Would not be surprised if he's a first-round pick. I think he could be a first-round talent. The fifth-ranked power forward in this year's class via CBS Sports. He could easily be a first-rounder. And looking at this list, I may have put him too low, but overall his sets were very impressive on both sides of the ball. I think he went 15-5. That's what, if I remember correctly. Najee Marshall. Xavier standout put up 17 points along with 6 boards. As a junior, he definitely has a role in the current NBA, but how large of a role is unknown. Bet anything on him?
No, I like you're going heavy Big East. That's all I can say.
All right, now this is a pick not many would expect. Lamine Diane, the California State Northridge small forward. He had the best numbers out of everyone in my top 60 and throughout all of Division I basketball as a sophomore. Think about that. Most of these guys are juniors and seniors that put up these big numbers. Put up 26 and 10 on a nightly basis, which is very, very impressive. I definitely think he's a steal. If I were an NBA GM, I'd at least work him out. If he goes undrafted, I'd definitely contact him, try to get him in my organization, summer league contract, two-way player, something to that degree. But
yeah,
I think everyone's sleeping on Lamine.
How did you come across Lamine?
He was like the last ranked player on CBS Sports 90-player big board.
All right. Well, those stats are amazing, but did you look up his shooting numbers?
Somewhere in Africa.
Wait, I just realized. Do you have Precious Achiuwa on this list?
Yes, I do. He was at like 20.
20. Okay, yeah. All right. Well.
But an international prospect with crazy numbers. Yeah, I like him a lot. And then to end it off, I have a couple honorable mentions. Josh Hall, 4-star prospect who left NC State before intending to enter the draft. And then Leonardo Bomara, who many have as a first-round talent. I knew someone would say something if I didn't have him here at least. So I don't think he's a top 60 player. I don't even think he's a top 65 player, but projected first-rounder, and many think he's a Tony Parker clone, which I can see.
I've seen him in like 20-25 range, but I also don't like I don't like what I've seen, so I don't know where I'm going to put him.
Yeah, well, Ben said before the show he's 38, so 8 players done. I'll hopefully have it in the coming days, so we'll have that all situated. But yeah, and then after that, I expect we'll do
some mock stuff.
Some mock draft. I bet you we'll do another top 30 mock, and then we'll do a top 60 mock. So we'll have another 4 episodes combined from that. So we have 5 episodes definitely on the horizon. Those 5 episodes will probably take us the rest of June, if I had to guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then heading into July, maybe that
more sports are going to start opening up soon. So soon we'll be able to.
We can talk about that a little bit. That went faster than expected. We're only 19 minutes into the show. MLB, both sides, the players.
Oh gosh.
I mean, it's going back and forth.
The season might not happen. The MLB, they need to come to an agreement soon. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. And the MLS just announced today they're doing they're doing a tournament to set off the new year, which is on June or July 10th, I think. So I can look that up. Which would be
interesting, yes. But
everyone's excited for the NBA, I think.
Things are happening. The NBA is definitely the focal point right now. Teams will be going to Orlando soon. But yeah, the NBA is definitely getting all the rage right now.
Are they bringing their two-way players? I don't know if they're.
I'm not sure.
because there's some really good
The
two-way guys.
Raptors too. The Raptors might not be granted access. I mean, they already have their spot. We all know that, but
Oh
the
yeah, they
Raptors
might
might
do
not
that
be there.
quarantine.
Right. They might not be there when all the other teams are training because Canada. Because of course they're in Canada. We'll see. And there's also more news coming out about what will the 8 teams that didn't qualify do? What will the Bulls, Knicks,
Bulls.
Hornets, all those teams do?
I was hearing talk of like a really like intense summer like training thing where maybe teams would have like scrimmages against each other, like the Knicks, the Bulls.
I mean, NBA players are scrimmaging with each other every single day at training.
But like even more organized stuff.
More organized. I mean, they have access to a gym and all these overseas NBA guys, G League guys. They just go and work their butts off for a few hours scrimmage and
Yeah, there's some of the NBA guys that aren't even. I saw something on ESPN about Marco Bellinelli, who's in
what happened
Italy.
to him?
He's in Italy, and they're kind of locked. Or he's been locked down for a while. So I don't know when he's going to be able to get back to the States. But the Spurs made it, so he's on the roster. So we'll see what happens if he can
Well,
get back.
this was another good episode, Ben. And we will see you guys later with Ben's 31 through 60. Peace.
Over the weekend, I think.
Yes, peace.
All right, see you guys.